And I guess we're going to be getting into spoilers for those who don't know the books or the movies from the 70s and 80s. And, you know, who hasn't seen it yet. So spoiler warning. Paul's mom, played by the perhaps most underrated actress on planet Earth, Rebecca Ferguson. The blue drink. At first, I forgot. He drinks it. He dies. And, you know, Zendaya's like leaning over him and she's like, oh my God. Oh. And they're all like, wait a second. Tears from the desert rose, or the rose, you know, her secret name is like part of the prophecy. And it's like the tears from her mixed with that blue stuff, put it on his lips and it'll bring him back to life. And it does! Mama Atreides, and she, you know, it's just her and Paul. They're the outsiders. And their reverend mom, their reverend mother, like their high witch, is dying. So they need someone to take her place. And since most people believe that Paul is the Sel Talib, I'm going to get a lot of the names wrong.
Lisan al-Gaib, you idiot.
Is like, you know, a nun who pushes this prophecy of like, you know, the Messiah, and he doesn't believe it. A lot of people think it's BS, and a lot of people think it's real. It's just like all religions. But Paul keeps showing signs, as Javier Bardem, I think that's his name, I think his character, he keeps saying like there's signs, like he shows signs of like the prophecy, like all the stuff that we wrote is like coming true through him. And even Zendaya's character, she's like, yo, all this stuff that you're claiming is coming true, you wrote it. So you're like making it come true. But then there's a moment when Paul gets his like Fremen name. And he names himself Muad'Dib, after a kangaroo mouse. That's like a genius little animal. And he's like, well, to Zendaya's character, he's like, what's your like secret name? And she tells him what it is, I don't remember, and she's like, it means like desert rose. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, I don't like it. It's all just made up. It doesn't mean anything. It's false hope. And he's like, yeah, that's a good point. The Harkonnens are invading, and the Fremen just keep cutting them off. They keep like killing them, actually. Like they know they're coming, so they wait for them, and then they attack them. Those scenes were awesome. The way that Denis Villeneuve does like scale, so you know like how big the thing is and how like small the people are, and God, I don't know. I feel like there's few movies that made it seem so like realistic, and I could understand the scale of everything so quickly. Because his mom had to drink the water of life to become the Reverend Mother, and she does, and they expect her to die. But because she's pregnant, because she's like a witch and she's trained to avoid poison, she lives. And now her mind is open, and she's like, yeah, like I'm in charge, and it is all about my son. I don't give a shit about anybody else. And even the baby is like talking to her. Like the baby is like, yo, Paul is blinded by love. We need to get them like apart. And so she's like, she puts it in his head, like, yo, if you drink that stuff, you're going to see. Like, you'll see everything. Like, I'm superpowered. You're going to be crazy like Doctor Strange with the third eye. And so she puts it in his head. Time passes. He tells them all to go south. I'll stay back. What he really is doing, he finds the blue liquid. How does it work? How do you get it? They have baby sandworms. Right? They catch the baby sandworm. They make it think that they're going to, like, give it water. Or, give it food. And they put it in the water and drown it. And then extract this another glowing blue liquid out. And you drink that. And Paul drinks it, and it was known to, like, kill men. Like, only women could, like, withstand it. Probably because a man never tried it. And he lived, and he's like, I can see the future. I can see everything all happening at the same time. He's like, I see a million outcomes where it's very Infinity War. He's like, I see multiple outcomes where we are the loser. But there is one narrow way we can take where we come out on top. And I should have, he's like, did our father know that the baby is a Harkonnen? And that, like, we're Harkonnens? And she's like, I didn't know until I drank the water of life too. So he's like, well, that's how we'll stay alive. Your kid is in their belly. So, I mean, the implications there. I need to, like, go watch New Rock Stars or Screen Crush or, like, you know, a channel that can break this all down for me. Emergency Awesome. Why not? Because I'm like, oh, so I guess the Baron, like, Harkonnen raped her twice? Or something else happened. I'm confused. But anyway, so, you know, he takes it and they corner the family. They've got the whole royal family, and even the Baron is, like, on the steps of the throne, like, trying to climb up it, but all his tubes have been ripped out, and Paul comes over, jams a thing in his neck, and he's like, this is for my father, you piece of shit. It's crazy. Josh Brolin and Batista, they have a face-off, and Brolin kills him kind of the same way, and he says, this is for my Duke and my friends. Paul walks over to Christopher Walken, and he's like, answer for my father. I know it was you who killed him. He's like, your father was weak. And he's like, stand or name a champion. It's time. It's go time. And he names Austin Butler. Now, Austin Butler had a scene, my favorite scene of the movie, on this planet where the sun is black. So everything is black and white. Like, there's no color. The fireworks were just black in a white sky, and they looked almost like paint balloons splatting against the wall. It was visually, like I said, you've never seen it. And he fights in this, like, gladiator thing and kills 3 Atreides, like the 3 remaining Atreides, known remaining Atreides. And so Austin Butler and Paul Atreides go at it, and Austin Butler gets him, stabs him, but stabs him kind of like, where John Locke gets shot. I don't think Paul Atreides has a kidney either, so he survives. And then Austin Butler comes up with this huge knife, and he's got it, and Paul just catches it in his gloved hand, but it's slicing right through it, obviously. And Austin Butler's pushing it, and his hand is getting closer and closer to the hilt. And as it gets to the hilt, they shift, and somebody gets stabbed. And for a second, you're like, oh, does he die? And he got him. And he kills Elvis. And he goes, and he is like, now he is in charge, and he's going to marry Florence Pugh, keep her safe, to keep their army. And the other, families and houses are like, no, we don't recognize you as in charge. So, Holy War, here it comes. And the whole thing Paul has been trying to avoid is a holy war because of him. Dune Part 3. If you guys saw it, let me know what you think. If you didn't, I definitely recommend it. And if you're going to go see it, let me know when. For daily trailer reactions, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week.